welcome to Yep, a King of the Hill podcast for piñatas and death carts. I'm Rob.
And I'm Ronnie, and yes, you could smoke these little arms, Rob. Today we're talking about Season 1, Episode 10, Keeping Up with Our Joneses.
I gave up smoking so you could be free of birth defects, and this is how you repay me?
Yeah, you don't know how hard it is to quit. Your mother and I went through hell trying to... Hey, don't recline-o-mite while I'm talking to you.
I love that Hank's like, yeah. he's like a sidekick in that moment. Yeah. And then Bobby just reclining in the chair while he's getting scolded. Bobby.
This is why Bobby might be one of my... Well, I know he is, but he's got to be a top 3 favorite character of all time for me.
Yeah.
He's so fucking funny.
I love Bobby.
He just reclines there. Well, in this episode, when Hank catches Bobby smoking in a gas station bathroom, he punishes him by making Bobby smoke an entire carton, which reignites a tobacco addiction Hank and Peggy once had before Bobby was born.
Ronnie, what are your opening thoughts on this one?
So I found, when doing Yep, that whenever we jump into one that I have fond memories of, that I'm really excited to watch, it doesn't hold up quite the way that I expected it to. Not the case with this one. As we'll see when we jump in, like from the first line, I'm laughing. It's just one of those great King of the Hill episodes where there's a really good story here. Because again, this is like, oh, this is the cigarette smoking one. I remember it as a classic one. So that story is very good, but then it's just layered with so many jokes that I'm really excited to talk about this one today.
Yeah, me too. Because I love cigarettes. We'll get into it.
This is a reminder to any parents out there, you know, we might talk about some cigarettes here. This is an edgy podcast.
There's a little bit of that in here. You know, I talked about I'm impressionable. I guess I was saying that in anticipation of this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so did you smoke?
No.
Good.
For a bit, should I pretend I did? I do have that thing where it seems like if you tell me stories about shit people shouldn't do because it's bad for them, it hurts them, it fucks up their lives, I'm still like, I don't know, I saw somebody do it on TV, I'm going to do it. I kind of want to do it. I don't know. Like people are fighting. Fighting hurts. But I'm like, I don't know, I saw violence on television. I thought maybe I'd fight.
Then you watch The West Wing and you're like, I guess I'll start working at the White House.
I guess I'll be president. What does it mean that would not happen? Like I would never watch Succession and be like, I want to be a businessman. I don't want to be. I only am drawn to the ones where they're like destroying themselves. And I'm like, I'll do it. So, oh man, did we stumble into some kind of dark psychology going on in me? It's like I'm impressionable when someone is destroying themselves. Uh-oh.
Well, I think a lot of the times the ways that they destroy themselves is like considered fun and or cool as in smoking. So when you see, oh, well, that guy's doing it and he's fine. Even if he dies at the end of the episode, you're like, yeah, well, I'll avoid that.
Yeah, I'll just not do the die part.
Did he think of that? Yeah, I didn't know when we got on here if you'd have a cig in your mouth. I didn't know what to expect logging on today to talk about this one.
Rebecca won't let me.
Well, good. I mean, she is a nurse.
I was like, hey, let me smoke while I record. She said, I'm going to ask you not to do that.
What a polite way to say no. My nurse wife would put it in a different way than sweet angel Rebecca did. Well, I found this episode to be great. Excited to get into it. I want to mention the name here, Keeping Up with Our Joneses. I assume that this is a play on the term keeping up with the Joneses, which is like, isn't that like when you see somebody...
It doesn't make sense for this.
I know, it really doesn't, but I think it's just like the wordplay of keeping up with the Joneses is when you see like another family, like, oh, I want it, like, oh, Ronnie, we just talked about this at the beginning for our supporters. Ronnie just got the cool new phone. I got to get the cool new phone too to keep up with the Joneses.
Yeah.
And then it's also playing on jonesing for a fix, I assume. Because they're jonesing for some cigarettes in this episode, so I guess that's where the name comes from. Writers here, written by Jonathan Collier. Is that acceptable, do you think, Rob?
I would think so, because it's like Nafisa Collier, my favorite WNBA player who plays for
My beautiful state, yes.
Minnesota Lynx.
Well, we have Jonathan Collier here. He's a producer on King of the Hill, so his name has been in the credits this whole time. But this is his first writing credit on King of the Hill. Before King of the Hill, he was writing on The Simpsons and did some other stuff before that. So he's a Simpsons guy coming in on King of the Hill. written as well by Joe Stillman, who we have talked about before. He is of Square Peg and Shrek fame. Good old Joe Stillman. So as anyone knows, we love Square Peg. We talk about it to death on this podcast. Specifically in the Square Peg episode. We talked a lot about Square Peg there.
Fucking obsessed in that one.
So high hopes on this one because of that. So, Rob, it's April 27th, 1997. There are still some smoking areas and restaurants at this time. What do you say we light up and go see what was going on the week that this episode debuted?
Read our paper in the smoking section of the diner.
All right, put that cigarette out for a minute because I want to talk to you and I want to tell you thank you for listening to Yep. Rob and I sure do appreciate you spending this time with us. If you like this podcast, just telling one friend would really help us. I mean, getting this thing in front of other King of the Hill fans is the biggest struggle. So if you know anybody that likes King of the Hill and would like to listen to two grown men babble on about it for 2 hours, then you know what to do. Let them know about it. If you'd like to support this show financially, you can do that by heading on over to yeppodcast.com/support. There's a link to that right in the description of this podcast episode. And for $5 a month, you are supporting us. It's so easy to sign up to this. It's just a couple taps and that's it. And you are downloading the full episode of Yep into your podcast app of choice. And the full episode is anywhere between like 25 to 40 plus minutes longer, sometimes up to an hour longer. And the main thing we are doing in these episodes is talking about some of the pop culture of the time of when these episodes debuted. It's so much fun to take a little trip back to the 90s and see what was happening. This week, for Keeping Up with Our Joneses, we are talking about George Strait and the Rodeo, Rosie O'Donnell's hard-hitting journalism on her show. We're talking about the Mary-Kate and Ashley fan club. Rob was almost tempted to sign up for that. He really liked the idea of surprise mystery gifts. We are talking about Dina Carter and also the King of the Hill soundtrack. She's on that soundtrack, so we talk a bit about it. And we talk about Mike Myers promoting Austin Powers on the Rosie O'Donnell show, but more specifically, a very misguided argument that I got into as a child with a friend of mine. Let's go listen to some of that.
Finally, we get Mike Myers promoting Austin Powers, International Man of Mystery. I actually don't have that clip. I don't know what happened.
I'll do it. Yeah, baby. There you go. Well, as a kid, I was confused by this because there's Mike Myers, the funny man, and then there's Michael Myers, the murderer, the movie murderer. Obviously, it's not real. Confused. I remember I got into a fight with my friend because he was like, Michael Myers is a murderer. I'm like, no, he's not. He's a comedian. He does Austin Powers. And we got in this huge fight because it was two different things we were talking about, but we were stupid like 8-year-olds and had no idea.
Man, I'm glad you shared that story with me because that helps me feel better about how stupid I am all the time.
There it is, just a little taste of what's going on over there rather than this message, telling you about it. But let's go talk about Keeping Up with Our Joneses, a classic episode. Feel free to light that cigarette back up. And for any listeners who can smoke an entire carton during the course of this podcast episode, let me know. You can get in on my Mary-Kate and Ashley fan club subscription.
Oh, we start with a slice of life. My favorite thing to notice is that so many of these episodes start with just an everyday task or something,
Something's happening.
We had the birthday party, so that's a little bit more of a special event, but still like one that we all share that experience, normal stuff.
Well, for Hank, this might be a special event, to be clear.
That's true. This time we're cleaning grout in the bathroom. Scrubbing tile with toothbrushes, probably. I didn't notice. But we start with just a funny joke.
This grout is supposed to stay white for 20 years. What's it been, 17, 18? Peggy, where's that receipt?
Peggy, where's that receipt?
I want to say, the first time I watched through this today, I took a page from the old Rob Couch playbook. I said, all right, because I was kind of making something to eat. I'm like, let me just listen to this first. I'm not going to watch, I'm just going to listen to it. And from that first line, I was like, I think this is my favorite first line of any King of the Hill episode
that we've done.
Certainly that we've done. I haven't kept track of it. That's not something I've been tracking, but like I was dying laughing just at this concept. He's pissed off. It's only 17 or 18 years, and then Peggy, where's the receipt?
I like that they're working together too.
Yes,
they're partners right now. This won't be one of the stories that's at least primarily structured around them being at odds in whatever way, and then finding their way back together at the end. They're starting out as a team, scrubbing together. I'm like, oh, that's probably nice. You got your life partner, your spouse, and you do some cleaning together.
Yeah, in the bathroom that they both use, it's their bathroom, so it's nice that they're both cleaning it together.
In comes Ladybird. Luanne's like, look at this, and here's Ladybird with a bunch of makeup on, and Hank thinks that Luanne did it on purpose. And is this the first time that we see Hank treat Ladybird the way that he does, which is this really like doting, affectionate? He talks to her in a way he doesn't talk to any other entity on Earth.
Yeah, I think so, because the only major Ladybird we've gotten so far is in the Westy Side Story one. And Hank shows that like he's proud of her, like she's a Georgia bloodhound and all this, but I don't know that we see him, like you said, doting on her like we'll see here.
Oh, Ladybird, didn't Luanne make you look pretty? Pretty dog? Who's a pretty dog?
I mean, we've seen this character. This is episode 10. He's not like that, obviously, right? Mm-hmm. And we didn't use the clip because, anyway, he covers her ears and then tells Luanne, get this stuff off her. And then Luanne's like, I wasn't making her up. She ate my stuff.
Yes. Yeah, she wasn't supposed to do that.
She ate my makeup. And there's always that fight of like, okay, what do we pull as clips? We could basically play the whole episode.
God,
one this is loaded with lots of funny stuff. So immediately let's start skipping things that would be well worth playing.
Yes.
Like this joke Luanne has. Where Ladybird ate all my cruelty-free makeup, and Peggy says, well, just smack her on the butt or something like that. And Luanne says, I paid extra for cruelty-free. I'm going to do a lot more than that.
Which is so rich with humor there, because it's like, well, cruelty-free, but then she's going to ostensibly be cruel to an animal because it ate her makeup. It's just so many layers to that. It's so good. I do want to track how they use Hank there, because I didn't think about that, because like, again, when we talk about this TV show, we've seen every episode, so we're coming in with the fully formed vision of what Hank is. But here in episode 10, you are right. I don't know that we've seen Hank acting like this. And I feel like my normal response would be like, oh, that's out of character for Hank. Like we saw in the last episode in Peggy the Boggle Champer. I'm like, why is Hank being such an asshole here? He's lying. Here it's like, well, Hank's acting... he's like babying his dog in a way that doesn't quite seem like him. But for whatever reason, I love it and I think it's funny. But that's also because I know that Hank goes on to do more of that too in the show. So it's like, oh, I love seeing that side of Hank here, doting on Ladybird and not really caring what she did to poor Luanne's expensive makeup.
That makes me think that Hank seeming not like himself is a big part of how this episode works. We'll get to it, but the cigarettes unlock parts of who he is that we haven't seen a whole lot of.
Yeah, for sure.
First, let's get those cigarettes in action here. Oh, you remember the days of old where Bobby and Joseph would be talking about shooting Ross dolls with BBs and having these like really fun little moments. Of course, the Bobby doing the impression of Hank being mad. I love those old Bobby Joseph moments. We haven't had that in a while.
Right, we don't get them that much, these days.
Well, here they are at a gas station. We'll find out Hank's around. So what's the scenario, by the way, before we dive into the scene? But have they gone with Hank to get gas?
That's what I was confused
while
by.
He's pumping his gas, the boys go and hop in a dumpster, or what's happening?
I really wondered that while watching back. I'm like, wait, why? Did I miss a detail? Why is Hank here too? I don't know. It's so quick. We see Hank's truck. He's getting gas, so that's what it seems like.
Oh, he is getting gas.
Yeah, we see his truck, and then we pan over to the dumpster. So a very quick detail.
Yeah, I missed it. There's lots of things to talk about with this little scene that I might get into some details that we don't necessarily need to get into.
Yeah, I kind of think I know where you're heading too.
Yeah, but here they are, Bobby and Joseph. We join them in the dumpster, and they're digging around, and I just love how silly these fucking kids are.
Yes.
I found a spark plug. Great. Now all we need are 5 more of those, an engine, 4 wheels, some kind of frame, and a cassette radio, and we got our death cart.
I don't know what a death cart is.
I don't know. And we never get any resolution.
Yeah, they move on pretty quick.
Yeah.
I love that they found a spark plug, and then Bobby's like building some kind of vehicle around
They need multiple spark plugs for it. It sounds like
some kind of frame. And then I like, of course, that it ends on a tape radio player or whatever he says. Like, if you got a death cart, obviously you need a frame and an engine so the thing will go. And then also, well, you got to listen to tunes.
you need music to listen to while you're, I don't know, running people over in your death cart. I don't know what that could possibly. Is this like a Mad Max thing? Did they just
That's what I
watch Mad
thought of.
Max?
Yeah, that's funny. But they find this pack of Manitoba 100s. It's got 1 cigarette left. By the way, who's throwing away their cigarette pack with a full, and it's not even like bent up or anything.
Right.
It's just a good cigarette. So they're like, oh, I never smoked. Joseph says only secondhand from my dad.
Only secondhand from my dad.
So they duck into the bathroom, and one of the little details is they're waiting. How long does it take for Hank to fill up his truck?
Yeah, I don't know if maybe he ran in, because you have to assume that he left them alone. Because I don't know if he. I don't want to speculate, but like, would he be okay with them jumping in the dumpster? I don't know if he would be.
He's probably like checking his wiper fluid levels and
yeah, he's doing the whole kit and caboodle. Doing the windshield and everything,
giving himself full service.
Yeah,
not
exactly.
paying attention to them, and then he probably goes inside and like shoots the shit with the
that's
guy he knows there.
Yeah,
Larry, whatever it is. But the boys, they wait outside the bathroom, and then a guy comes out, and they rush over to stop the door from closing. So I'm thinking, okay, so it's a place where you got to get the key from inside, and then you go around the corner to the outside bathroom. They keep it locked so that not just anybody can go in there, obviously, right?
Mm-hmm.
The reason I bring that up is because later Hank's just going to open the door.
He tries, and they can't lock it for whatever reason.
Yeah, so I don't know. But anyway, so they rush in there, and then I love this. Some animation here. That door closes behind them. Now they're inside the bathroom. We're in there with them. The screen goes dark, and then Bobby lights a match, and the glow of the match lights up their faces.
Yeah,
as they light the cigarette. I just like the way that was animated, the way that was done visually.
Mm-hmm.
And then they each get a puff, and then here's Hank at the door. Is this bathroom occupado? He actually says, "Is this Juan?"
Yeah, he does. Yeah, what the hell?
More jokes that we're not gonna clip, but So he catches them smoking. I guess before we leave that scene behind, though, I did some sleuthing, some noticing.
Yes,
like a detective. I was like, hey, wait a minute. Here's Hank opening the door to catch them, and it's the second door on the outside of this building, the second door from this back corner of the building. Skip back to when the boys ran in there, and it was the door closest to the back corner.
You're right, yeah. I want to say I'm looking through this scene here, and I didn't notice this before. I stopped when Hank is trying to go into the bathroom. We see a billboard that says country dancing at Ugly's Saloon. That's just a little billboard they have up there in the area.
It's fun to notice little details like that.
Yeah.
I wonder how many little animation mistakes and stuff there are that I don't notice. And I wonder how many, because I don't care, right? What difference does it make?
Yeah.
And then I wonder how many little details like that. Like I didn't notice that billboard.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I need to look at the fucking screen and enjoy some of what's going on.
We're humans. We're so accustomed to looking at humans like we're looking at the drawings of the characters, not so much like what's going on behind all the characters.
Well, the boys are busted.
Yeah, they're in big trouble now.
Let's hear how Dale handles that with Joseph.
I want you to keep an open mind so you can make an informed decision. If you want, you can read a bloated government report on smoking, or go straight to the horse's mouth and get the facts from the tobacco industry.
The tobacco industry.
Get the facts straight from the horse's mouth. That's horrible.
I like that, smoking obviously is what the whole episode's going to be about. Everyone is against it, not Dale.
Yeah, he's kind of excited.
Dale's kid smoked. He's like, all right, let me introduce you to the truth about how good this is. Like he doesn't even smoke the way most people do. It's like, I wish I could quit these cigarettes. Instead, he's now, but what about the fact that he's just a moron, I guess. Because I'm thinking he thinks everything's a conspiracy, but he's that kind of conspiracy nut where it's always government and aliens, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not like he's doing the thing where like corporate manipulation or
Right.
That's
He's
not what
okay
he
with
focuses
corporations,
on.
at least here and
Yeah.
at this point in time. Corporations are okay. They have your best interest at heart.
You know, if anything, it's like, well, the government's always interfering with these corporations.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, Peggy and Hank take a different approach. They yell at Bobby a little bit. We heard a clip of that at the beginning, you know, well, we gave up smoking. So we find out here is when it's really revealed, I suppose, that Hank and Peggy used to smoke
Yes.
and stopped when she got pregnant, I guess, and they knew the boy was coming, so they gave it up. I love that Hank reads off the warnings on the pack of cigarettes to Bobby, and Bobby's so funny.
Didn't you read this? Cancer, heart disease, emphysema.
Well, I thought those were the ingredients.
Again, just one of those layered jokes. It's like the more you think about it, the funnier that it gets.
It's so funny. Peggy says, "Don't be smart," and I'm like, I don't. He doesn't like Adlon doesn't deliver that as if Bobby is being cheeky.
Yeah, it seems like he's is
sounds
dumb and he
real.
believes it. Yeah, I didn't take that as him like cracking a joke. And that's interesting because like the Bobby we will come to see, and then we've seen a little bit like at his birthday party where he's a comedy guy. So you could see that he would try and disengage that situation with comedy, but I don't take it that way at all. Like I think he was genuine there.
Yeah, he's not like a sharp, I get everything going on and kind of like can play with it, you know, from above, ironically. That's not the kind of funny he is.
Yeah, so much of his humor is like scripted things and like bits that he's worked out ahead of time. It's not like quick in the moment kinds of things. Visually there, this is such a small dumb detail, but it did stand out to me that we see Hank kind of pacing around like he's so angry while Peggy's talking to him. He's like pacing in the room. I wouldn't say this is a slice of life, but it did feel real to me to where he's so angry. He's like walking back and forth. A nice detail to this. You're right. Episode with a lot of interesting visuals in it, like with the fires. Also, we'll get to it, some bad visuals too that I picked up on, but that could be because maybe they use so much of their budget on like, you know, the smoking scene with the fire, you know, the light on the faces and stuff, that maybe they didn't have as much money for at other points of the episode.
Is that how it goes? Where if it's a pretty elaborate animation, it just takes more time, takes more, you know, hours. That's time, isn't it? It takes more resources of whatever kinds, and so it costs more money, and then you might end up in a budget crunch.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Like the episode of Dancing is Forbidden I have out most recently, the Aquateens are invisible in a lot of the episode, and I had Matt Malero on it, and he's like, yeah, maybe a part of that is because like we ran through most of our budget that season, so we had to do an episode like that wasn't animation heavy. So yeah, you do run into that when it gets down to the specifics of actually producing something like a cartoon.
It's funny because I would tend to think like, well, anything's possible in animation because you can just draw it. You don't have to figure out how to shoot it practically with a camera or anything, obviously. So yeah, but there are different constraints that come into play here with animation, including it's fucking labor intensive and expensive.
And
that becomes expensive.
Yeah, absolutely.
Another thing I like is how Hank and Peggy are united here. And it's always interesting to see how they lay groundwork, and I don't even notice it until we start talking about it. Like they were cleaning the grout together, and here they are united in their approach to handling Bobby. And I'm talking about, obviously they're on the same page. They both don't want the kid to smoke, and they both are former smokers, and they quit together. There's a lot of togetherness.
Yes, yeah.
But then also
just
that stuff about like earlier in the clip when Peggy says whatever she says, and Hank's like, yeah, you know what I was talking about earlier. And then here you hear Hank reading off the ingredients, and you hear Peggy going, like they're locked in together here as a team.
100%, yeah. So hold on, let's stay in this a little bit. I'm gonna ask you two sides of this coin. So let's talk about your history with smoking really quickly as it pertains to. Did you ever get, I guess not even smoking, did you ever get caught by your parents as a kid doing something bad like this? Like, were you ever Bobby in the reclining chair getting yelled at by both of your parents?
No.
Yeah, see, me neither. That's why I asked you. I don't have a story to share about it.
Not like that. I want to say one time my older sister and I spray painted the big tree in our backyard.
Mm-hmm.
And Dad was pretty upset about that and might have yelled at us a little bit. He mostly, I don't think he handles emotions very well like Hank. But his response isn't to threaten to kick everyone's ass like Hank. His response is to go out to the shop and fix a carburetor, like I don't like how this makes me feel. I'm going somewhere else. And then Mom's got to handle it. And Mom was exasperated often enough, whatever. But also, like, I remember I got in trouble for, like, I found my dad's stash of Playboys.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt so bad I confessed. Partly because I'm paranoid I'll get caught, even though there's no way. Like, oh, he'll notice.
I was dusting my Playboys for fingerprints, Rob.
Yeah, how's he going to catch me? But so I confessed, and, she was like, well, there's nothing wrong with being interested in that stuff. Don't go through people's things, though. Respect people's privacy. Like, she just handled it really nicely. I remember stealing, my friend Paul's mom smoked Marlboro Lights, which I would never smoke on purpose because the filter is the same color as the cigarette, and that's not cool.
This doesn't look like the one on TV. Exactly. I don't know if I want it. Yeah.
Like, give me that orange butt where the filter is.
Mm-hmm.
But we had stolen one of those, and we had a lighter, and we're walking around the neighborhood like we always did. I'm probably 12. I really wanted to smoke this cigarette. It was in my head, probably from John McClane smoking at Nakatomi Plaza. I don't know what other smokers on TV. It was around. The old tobacco industry used film and television to make us think that we needed to smoke,
Yes.
And I couldn't even light it. I didn't even understand how to light it. Like, you have to suck in while you hold the flame to the tip of the cigarette, but I didn't get that. So I'm just holding the cigarette in my lips and trying to light the end, but nothing's happening. You have to breathe that in,
Yeah.
So Paul has to light it for me, and then I'll smoke it. And we got a hold of a few, and that's how I did it. In 7th or 8th grade was, here, Paul, light this for me. And okay, now I'll smoke. He didn't want to smoke.
Two-man operation.
He grew up with his grandpa and his mom smoking in the double wide, stinking the place up.
Sure.
He didn't ever want to smoke. I did. It was cool, but I needed him to light it for me.
Which is so uncool. Man, I want to smoke right now, but Paul's not around to light up for me.
Then you find out that, well, you're supposed to inhale it. You don't just like suck it into your mouth and then puff it out. You have to inhale it. And what's cooler than exhaling through your nose, I think, to this day. I still think that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then I start inhaling, and I'm like, oh, this makes me sick. It's gross. It makes me feel terrible. So I went a long time not doing it. But then by high school, lots of people smoked. So I started smoking. Like, especially when I was 18, I could buy the packs,
Right.
So you get your gas and you go buy your cigarettes. Try different brands, find the one I like. I liked Camel Lights for a while. I liked Winston's for a while. I liked menthol. I smoked Cools. That's a lady cigarette.
That's what my parents smoked.
Is that right?
Cools. Yeah.
Menthol? I don't know if they're all menthol. I can't remember.
I want to say this is burned in my fucking memory. I don't know what it means. Cool Mild 100.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
I think the 100s are the extra long ones, right?
Sure. I don't know.
Anyway, so then my dad comes to me, and my mom did my laundry, and she found a lighter that had been in my pocket. And so my dad comes to me and he's like, have you been smoking? And I said, no. I just have that. I don't know. Some people do smoke. It's just kind of cool to have a lighter. So I just lied to him. Same as when he came to me and he was like, are you walking on top of your car?
No. Then why are there footprints all over it?
There were dents and stuff all over it. And he figured it out. The car guy, he was like, you're fucking walking on this Volvo.
Wait, okay, so why were you doing that?
Because I went to a big old Texas high school, huge student parking lot. If you got there late, you're going to have to park in the back. Everybody leaves at the same time. You're going to get home the next day. So you get there really early. I was always an early riser anyway. Get there early, so do my buddies. Well, my buddies are better Texans than me. They got belt buckles and pickup trucks. And they stand in the bed of the pickup truck, and we hang out because we're at the school like half an hour early. So we just hang out. Somebody might have a radio on. And I drive a 1988 Volvo. And I loved being like so cool I didn't give a shit about nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I smoke. And they're like, we all smoke too. That's why you smoke, asshole.
You're just copying us. What are you talking about?
So I walked on my car. I would stand on top of my car in the student parking lot while my buddies were standing in the beds of their trucks with their girlfriends. I'm alone. They got girlfriends in the beds of their trucks. I'm standing on a Volvo alone. Smoking a cigarette, probably, now that I think of it. And then later lying to my father about these activities.
Right. Because I was going to ask, I was like, well, why don't you just, hang out in the back of the truck with your buddies? But I guess they're busy making out with their girlfriends, so you're just standing on top of your car watching them.
My understanding is their girlfriends were like, don't let him come over here.
That's the guy who stands on the car. Keep him by his car there.
It's probably too much about me smoking all at once, but real quick, I say, lying again. Then there's a period where I'm not smoking probably, or I smoke here and there. I never shake the feeling that it's cool. The last time when I was really a smoker that I remember was the summer that Rebecca and I were together, but living apart because we're in college. So we're back. She's staying in a house in Little Rock with some friends, and I'm back home with my folks who got me set up with a moving job at like a moving company with a buddy of theirs from church. Everybody at that moving company smoked all day.
Okay, yeah.
So me too. Cigarettes and Mountain Dew all day, every day.
Hell yeah.
And then come Friday, I'm ready to drive to Little Rock and see my girlfriend who I love. Roll the window down, smoke my cigarette, practice being able to keep it in your mouth.
There you go.
Because the smoke coming off the tip of the cigarette will brutalize your nose. It's harsh.
Okay.
So you got to like figure out how to do these things that look cool. Like, what's cooler than someone on TV with a lit cigarette talking to you? Like, they got the cigarette in their teeth and they're still, hey, what are you gonna? They're talking to you while they have the cigarette in their mouth. They don't even have to take it out with their fingers, like a lady at the bingo hall. Instead, they can just smoke hands
They're
free.
a master of the craft.
So I was trying to do that easier in the car because the open window, the breeze would take that smoke that hurts, take it away. So then I'm really spending like an hour on the drive to Little Rock being like, no one's ever looked cooler driving a 1993 Saturn.
With footprints on the top, yeah.
Than me with this cigarette that I don't even have to take it out of my mouth to smoke. The whole thing, everything I've ever done, smoking certainly, it's just about the image I thought I was creating, even when I was alone.
I mean, like when you talk about someone with like the cigarette out of the side of their mouth, I immediately just think of Dale Gribble.
I was trying to be cool like Dale. You know how cool Dale is?
He might be one of the cooler characters on King of the Hill.
I guess.
Depending on your definition of cool. I mean, look, the cigarettes are literally called Cool with a K. What's cooler than that, Rob?
Yeah,
Nothing.
Backwards K.
Yeah.
Oh wait, I was thinking of that. I was trying to do a corn thing, but they have the backwards.
Well, they have the
R.
backwards R, yeah. But the cool, they have the two O's that are like crossed, like an infinity sign almost, because you're
smoke
infinitely
forever.
cool when you're smoking one. Smoke forever, yeah. It's easier to do when your lifespan is cut down because of it. So that's what they're trying to explain to Bobby here. This is not good for you, son. I don't know that you ever had to discipline your son Felix, but I would get the impression, the visual image that you and Rebecca would be like Hank and Peggy talking to Bobby, as a team together. Is that right? I don't know if he's ever done anything bad enough to warrant that, but
yeah, it would be more like just talking through something going on. Not really, he did something wrong and we gotta, discipline him exactly. Yeah, like I talked about this before, but like I yelled at him in the car because he would like never be ready for school on time and stuff like that. But Rebecca and I have had various times when we're talking about something with him and it's just us being lazy, the three of us in the living room, and just talking out our ideas about whatever the situation is, trying to lay out for Felix like where we're coming from, how we think about it. What's behind our thinking, like whatever ethics or values or whatever are informing our response to the situation, that kind of stuff. But all of it very casual, conversational. And by the way, who knows, right? It might just be total luck and everything. But I feel like that, talking to the kid and explaining where you're coming from and listening when they, like if they have stuff that they want to throw out there. Not that I'm real great at listening, but that seemed pretty good.
I think it's good. Yeah, I think that's amazing. Yeah. Well, like I imagine you and Rebecca working together here. We had Hank and Peggy, but unfortunately, Peggy is going to say something that will upset Luanne and take her out of the scene.
Yeah, emphysema aside, how about just smoking is trashy, says Peggy.
Bobby, smoking is a nasty filthy, filthy habit, and only trailer trash smoke nowadays. Now, do you want to look like trailer trash?
That's not fair. I don't smoke.
Lord, Hank, you finish this. Oh, honey, you are not trash. Just 'cause you grew up in a trailer and your mama's in prison.
Oh, poor Luanne. There's Brittany Murphy again with that great crying that she does as Luanne.
Really a standout Brittany Murphy episode, I think. And Mike Judge, for that matter. You know, Hank is such a fun character to listen to, and he has so many lines and everything.
Yeah.
Typically. But this one, there were a few things that Judge did that I especially liked. I don't know what accounts for that.
It's hard to even consider that. And I try and give credit to Mike Judge's voice acting, but to me, it's so ingrained that he is a master of voice acting that I'm like, I don't even like pay attention to those aspects. I mean, not to say that anybody else isn't a master too. I mean, truly, I think all the main cast on the show are amazing. But like, I just know that Judge as Hank is amazing and as Boomhauer is amazing that I'm like not even looking out for it anymore because I like everything I think that he does is so great. But then again, I could just say, well, I feel that way about everyone too.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, Rebecca and I have been watching Beavis and Butthead this week.
Oh, yeah?
Mike Judge is fucking amazing.
It's incredible. Like, so many of those episodes are just him.
I know. He's just talking to
multiple
himself.
Characters.
And I'm dying laughing the whole time.
I know.
Beavis and Butthead's so funny. And then you come over and get back to King of the Hill, and his Hank is so good.
Yeah. And just such different kinds of humor. I mean, we'll talk for listeners, and especially Propaniac supporters. We're talking about Beavis and Butthead for the September
that's the
bonus episode.
I can't wait.
So I'm sure we'll talk about this there. So we shouldn't dive into it right now because I could easily start talking about that. So Peggy's out of the scene, leaving just Hank and Bobby alone, and Hank comes up with a punishment for Bobby. And you know, it's important to get Peggy out of the scene here because she would not okay this whatsoever. Now, how she never came across this happening, because what's about to happen seems to take place over a long stretch of time, I don't really know. A lot of questions in this episode, and it is interesting, like, you know, like we were talking about how the whole scene with Bobby and Joseph doesn't really make sense. And I'm trying to understand why that doesn't bother me, because I love all this so much that I'm like, well, how come in other episodes when there's inconsistencies that bugs me, but not here? But here's another one, but it's so great. It's iconic King of the Hill. The punishment that Hank comes up with for Bobby is to make him smoke a carton so that he'll get sick and never smoke again. Hank's feeling pretty confident about his parenting here.
I thought you said you didn't want me to smoke anymore.
Oh, this'll take care of that, believe me. I wish my daddy'd had the parenting skills to do this for me, I tell you what.
It's important, I think, that Hank is proud. He thinks he's doing a good job.
Yes. Right, that's important here. And that's to the King of the Hill subject we've touched on so many times, is characters have good motivations. They are trying to do well. Like, Hank thinks this is good for Bobby and will help him. Obviously, this doesn't work if that's not the case. But, you know, King of the Hill didn't invent this. Like, this is a thing I've heard about of, like, making somebody do this. Like, so it's not like they invented this for the show. This is a thing that people have done before. So they're out back on the patio.
Yeah, the scene of their great pilot reconciliation resolution, you know.
Yes. Yeah.
Now it's a little different scenario.
And Hank dumps out a carton of cigarettes, and the carton is, here it seems to be 10 packs with 20 cigarettes each, because he says there's 200 cigarettes that Bobby has to smoke. So Bobby starts smoking, but he has no idea, you know, like, you needed your buddy to light it for you and everything. And Bobby, I guess, hasn't seen, this is interesting, because Bobby, you know, he grew up on television like you and I did. But he doesn't really seem to know how to hold a cigarette. He's kind of holding it with, I believe it's his index and thumb.
I think you can do that index over thumb. What he's doing, he's underhanding it so that his finger and thumb are vertical. And yeah, it looks stupid. That's what, come on, Bobby.
Yeah.
Hank doesn't appreciate it.
For God's sakes, Bobby, what nationality are you?
American.
Then why are you holding your cigarette like some kind of European Nazi in the movie?
Why does it matter?
Now, that's not the right sort of attitude for you to have. Whatever you do, you should do right, even if it's something wrong.
Okay.
Is he right about that, maybe? I don't know if I think that that's such bad advice. Obviously, just don't do the wrong thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever you're going to do it right, right? That's solid.
I think that's, I guess I can't argue with it, especially I can't argue with the logic of it. I want to let listeners know, I forgot what was in that clip, and I took a drink of my Coke, and then when Bobby says, he's like, what nationality are you? American? That kills me every time. I almost spit my fucking Coke out all over the place. Like the way he earnestly answers that. American.
It's one of the best things about Bobby, right? He's constantly earnest.
Yeah. It's like, he thought, like, maybe Hank was going to wait for a response. I mean, ultimately it's a TV show, so it's scripted out, but just that he thought that he had to answer that.
Yeah.
Like, obviously Hank knows that Bobby's American. So this is very interesting here. The way that this all kind of unfurls is we knew that they smoked, but throughout this punishment, because of Bobby's complete ineptness with it, Hank has to show him how to do it and then slowly kind of starts to fall back in love with it.
Yeah, including when he's ready for a fresh one, he flicks it up and catches it with his lips. And Bobby's impressed.
Yeah.
And I like that Hank goes, pretty keen, huh?
Yeah, I picked up on that too.
I like that he uses the word keen.
Yeah. Like, wow. That's, you don't hear that every day.
Yeah, and that Hank is... I don't know how much we have a sense of what does Hank think is cool. Does he think of himself as cool at all? This smoking thing is at least a look at, like, flicking the cigarette up to your mouth. Hank thinks that's a pretty nifty thing to be able to do. He's got some pride associated with this cigarette smoking thing.
Yeah, he's got some cool tricks in his sleeve that you wouldn't quite expect from a guy who we mostly see as like a straight ahead goody two shoes, like real by the book kind of guy, but then he's got these cool cigarette moves and everything. This goes on for a while. It's interesting because we get like time lapses while this is going on, and eventually Bobby hits his breaking point. We see he is physically green. It's one of those cartoony moments from King of the Hill that he is green. His face is green. And yeah, Bobby ends up smoking so much that he gets sick and vomits, which is the intention here, is to make him sick so he never wants to touch it again.
Now Bobby could vape, and he could get peaches and cream and
Oreo cookies.
Pepper, yeah. Which is totally uncool, by the way. We don't got to get into it, but vaping's not cool. Cigarettes are cool.
It didn't pick up the same way. I don't know. Maybe it did. I don't know, because we're not young, impressionable adults.
Oh, we're
not adults, children.
Is that what you mean? That it didn't catch? They all vape. It worked.
That's what I'm thinking. No, I mean, it didn't catch on as like a cool thing. It's from what I see, but at the same time, I'm saying like, well, what do I know? I'm not really taking in, first of all, as much new entertainment as I would have been back when cigarettes were the cool thing. So maybe it is cool. I don't know.
If it doesn't stink and tastes like cherry, you ain't smoking and it ain't cool.
I mean, I guess that's a part of it, right? Where it's this kind of unappealing thing that gives it that kind of perceived coolness where it's like, oh, he doesn't even care, man. That shit is disgusting, but he does it anyway.
Yeah.
As opposed to like, no, that guy, he's sucking in. Like, that is the thing. Like the first time I kind of came across vaping, I remember this dude was vaping, I don't know, some blueberry shit or something, I don't know. And I got a whiff of it. I'm like, oh, that smells kind of good. As opposed to, I grew up with secondhand smoke like Joseph for my entire life. And I'm like, oh, fuck, I don't want any of that. You know what I mean?
I remember I was at the gym on campus and some kid exhaled a plume of something. I was like, what the fuck? Is he smoking in here?
Yeah. You're like, did that guy crush up some cherries and then inhale it? And then, because that's what it smells like.
Yeah, I was baffled by what I had just witnessed. Is this man a dragon breathing smoke?
He said he's in the gym. You're like, is he working out so much that his lungs are sweating and he's exhaling it somehow? What is happening here?
People, if they're working hard cardio, they'd be like, oh, my lungs are on fire. This fucking guy. Literally,
he's pushing it. Good for him. So Bobby gets sick. He vomits. Hank tells him to take a hose to it when he's done. And I really want to talk about this because this is another thing that I just picked up on after seeing this episode 10 million times throughout my life. After that, Hank's in the alley telling the guys about like how great he is at parenting and everything. And at the end of the scene, a small stream of water makes its way from Hank's house into the alley, and Hank steps away from it. And then we end there. And that's, again, one of those like amazing subtle King of the Hill jokes because, like, okay, we saw in the previous scene there, he told Bobby to take a hose to it. Then he's out in the alley and some water comes down. So that's the throw up water coming down, but it's not addressed at all, which is probably why I missed it 10,000 times, but why I'm so delighted to finally pick up on it.
Now that Hank has smoked a bit with Bobby outside, he wants to keep doing it. He's all restless in bed.
Yeah, he's laying around in bed, yep.
And then Peggy's like, what's wrong? And I just think this is some of the funniest shit.
What's wrong, Hank?
Why are you always asking me that? What's wrong with you? How does that sound for a change?
How does that sound for a change?
I believe the way that this transition is kind of set up is, don't we see Bobby in bed first? And he can't sleep.
Oh, is that right?
And then we kind of go over to Hank, who's going through the same thing. And I want to point out the music playing here.
Oh.
There's lots of dialogueless, I don't know how to say that, scenes without dialogue, but music. And I feel like the music choices are always great. And it feels just very different to me for King of the Hill in a cool way. Like, so we get that visual scene of Bobby's kind of fidgeting in bed. He can't sleep. We go over to Hank while that, smooth jazz is playing. So we see something's going on here. Hank can't sleep. He blows up at Peggy.
As soon as you started playing that, I thought it sounded like Twin Peaks, which isn't what they're
does.
going for.
It actually does.
Imagine. I don't think that's on purpose. What would it even mean to do that?
Right. Yeah, then we see the little man dancing in the corner and he's speaking backwards or something. Yeah, right. That part confused me in King of the Hill. Yeah, Hank blows up at Peggy and then he excuses himself.
Yeah, he goes out back and he lights up a cigarette. I've always loved this. He exhales his smoke. It rises up into the night sky, and we kind of like take a peek at the moon up there, the full moon, and then look down at the Hill property. So we can see the roof of the house, and we can see Hank on the back patio where we left him smoking. And then we see over on the side of the house an orange flicker of light, and we go down there, and Bobby's lighting up a cigarette on the side of the house. So they're both outside in the middle of the night smoking. Now, for one thing, where did Bobby get that cigarette?
That is a really great question. I have no idea where he would have got that cigarette from.
Regardless, I love that visual sequence.
Another issue with the episode that I don't care about because
that's right.
I love it so much. Well, we cut to Strickland Propane now. Again, we haven't seen much of Strickland Propane. We haven't even met Buck Strickland yet, right?
Is that true? Yeah, right?
I don't think that we have.
Have we met Enrique?
No, this is our first time meeting Enrique. Hank befriends him so that he can bum a cigarette, basically. You kind of get the impression that they don't really talk or anything, but Hank's like, oh, he's smoking. Let me go hang out with him. And I want to point out, this is the first time we see Enrique. In this episode, he is voiced by Eloy Casados in the first 3 seasons. Eloy played Sheriff Sam Coyote in another Texas-themed show, Walker, Texas Ranger. Have you ever watched that, Rob? Was that big on your radar?
I think I probably put it on one time.
Was it true to Texas, did you find?
I don't. Here's one thing. Fuck Chuck Norris. That guy, I get that he can really do karate.
Uh-huh.
That's one thing. He's more legitimate than some action film stars. What he can't do that action film stars maybe ought to be able to do is act worth a damn.
Yeah, sure.
And he's a cornball and he loves Mike Huckabee and all this stuff. I got no use for Chuck Norris.
Yeah.
I don't imagine that Walker, Texas Ranger is a fun show to watch, other than when little bitty Haley Joel Osment says, Walker told me I have AIDS. It's a clip that comes up here and there. I don't remember where I've seen that.
Mm-hmm. Is that from the show or is that from something else? Okay, wow.
He's got a guest spot. Maybe it's around Sixth Sense.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, he played AIDS Kid. I remember that one.
Yeah.
No, I watched one episode maybe. And if anything, it was because Chuck Norris was, I guess, unfairly beloved by my generation because there were so many memes and jokes about how powerful and great he was. My favorite one was Chuck Norris is so strong that he can swim on land. And just the visual of a man swimming through the ground is so funny to me.
Yeah, he doesn't deserve that. And I think those started with someone else, and I can't remember who.
I think you're right.
It was someone else had those facts that were like that. and then somehow it morphed into Chuck Norris.
I remember hearing that. I'm looking it up. And
Pick anyone else.
I assume our listener is fully on board with this, because who doesn't love a Chuck Norris meme?
I think that one reason why it's Chuck Norris, why that would be the one that stuck, is because he's not cool. Right? Like, if you're just like, Arnold Schwarzenegger is so strong, it's like, yeah, he's a big old muscle man. You know, it's like it doesn't have any element of irony or incongruity to it. Making a big deal at a cornball Chuck Norris, who by then was selling you total gems with Christy Brinkley on infomercials. There's a juxtaposition there that helps make it funnier. But part of me also took it literally and was like, I don't want him getting all that kind of acclaim. He doesn't deserve it.
Right. So I'm seeing apparently it was about Vin Diesel.
Oh, yeah.
And that sounds right to me, yeah.
And you could see why that wouldn't be the one that stuck.
Yeah, because it's like, well, he's this like really buff like action movie dude. So yeah, I guess you're right. There's a part of it there that's the thing is, like, for me as a kid, I didn't really appreciate that. I'm just like,
yeah, you weren't parsing the memes.
Yeah, exactly. I was just like, oh man, Chuck Norris, he must be cool then, or whatever. I wasn't actually thinking about it in that way. But anyways,
I met Chuck Norris.
Did you?
Yeah, how do we start talking about Chuck Norris?
Walker,
this guy was
Texas.
on Walker, Texas Ranger.
Yeah, because the guy who was Enrique.
He made a movie called Sidekicks with Jonathan Brandis, a child star that I liked. Mm-hmm. It was about karate and whatever. And one of the people who funded that movie was Mattress Mac, Jim McIngvale from Houston, Texas. Gallery furniture will save you money. He was a guy who would like wear a mattress on his late night TV ads, right?
Yeah.
And he's got fucking rich. And one of the things he did was he helped produce this movie. And then I was at some kind of function where they came to promote it. And there's Chuck Norris and Mattress Mac promoting Sidekicks.
Oh, man.
I kicked his ass with a cigarette in my mouth.
Hanging out of your mouth. Yes. Awesome. And then you stood on the top of your car in victory and raised your fist to the sky. Enrique goes on to be voiced by my colleague and coworker, from Aqua Teen Hunger Force. He was in the newest season as well. I obviously didn't meet him or anything like that. Danny Trejo, who by all accounts is a very nice, great guy who is more deserving of the Chuck Norris mythos than Chuck Norris.
That would be a good one.
Yeah.
The way that Trejo would work for me with those kinds of memes would just be that he's not a big star. So it's kind of cool to grab a guy who gets more bit parts, kind of a character actor type career. And does seem like a good guy who was like in prison and then managed to start a career acting that became, like now I don't know if he's a household name, but a lot of people know Danny Trejo.
Yeah, I'm sure people are familiar with his work. Yeah.
So to me, that works better than Chuck Norris for those memes.
Exactly. Yeah. I have a lot more thoughts on Danny Trejo, but I'll save it for an episode he's actually in. So, Hank is here with Enrique. He's being oddly friendly. He's almost acting drunk on this cigarette.
Yes.
That's like kind of how I'm like, is this just a cigarette or is he smoking a joint or something like that? Because smoking, it puts Hank in a great mood.
There's a little bit of this feeling like, should Hank just be a smoker? He's fucking chill right now.
And times got hard after NAFTA sent the piñata jobs north.
That's quite a story, Enrique. I like stories. I like stories about piñatas. In fact, I like everything you have to say. Let's me and you visit your hometown sometime the way you had the courtesy to come see mine.
I'd be honored for you to meet my family, Mr. Hill.
And I'd be honored for you to meet my wife.
Hi, Hank.
She's coming to see if he can grab lunch, which I like that little detail.
Yeah.
Like sometimes she's out and about. It's about time he could take his lunch break, so she stops by Strickland to see if they can go to the diner together. I love their relationship in this one.
I know. Yeah, me too. It's
They're
so
just
inviting.
buddies.
Yeah, I like watching this as opposed to the last one where he's being like the worst husband ever for a period.
But of course, at this point, he's trying to keep the smoking secret, so he's a little freaked out when she shows up.
Yeah, and so again, to like the visuals of this one, some good maneuvering here. Like Hank's like maneuvering this cigarette so that Peggy never sees it while they're driving away, and then he flicks it like out the window as they're driving away, and then Enrique sees it's about to hit like an oil spot or a propane spot, and sprints out and catches it in his hands.
There's a real subtle "Adios mio" or whatever that that you hear as he's trying to catch it. It is a fun little moment.
Yeah. He saves the day here. Strickland maybe could, I don't know. Maybe it would have been there would have been a fire, but Maybe that whole tank would have exploded. I don't know how that works, but
I mean, that's what I'm imagining ignorantly.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But that's another example of Hank not being himself, right?
Yes.
He comes out there and Enrique's like, sorry, I know it's against the rules to smoke. And he's like, well, you can break rules.
Yeah.
And it's like, that doesn't seem like Hank. And then he's like, oh, I like your stories. We should hang out. He doesn't want to hang out with anybody ever. He's not like that. In fact, there's a later episode where Enrique starts
wanting to hang out too much.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely,
and
dude.
then just the hazard of flicking the cigarette toward an explosive. It's like Hank is not himself. So I was saying maybe you should smoke so it'll be friendly. But I mean, we're all going up in flames if Hank starts smoking, apparently.
Then he's unemployed if he does that. So I don't know, it's such a good idea. You know what? Here's my headcanon now, because there is the episode where Hank accidentally smokes a joint, but I'm thinking maybe there was something else in that cigarette, because the way Hank is acting is... I'm not accusing Enrique of anything here, but I never seen anyone act like that from a cigarette before.
Well, fair enough, but he does go to lunch with Peggy. They're at the diner, and he just mindlessly, I guess, lights up, even though he was trying to keep it a secret.
Yeah, he just blows it, yeah. Yes.
So she's like, what are you doing? And he's saying, well, you got to... They start talking a little bit in advertising speak. I don't know if we have clips that'll capture that, but he's like, well, you just got to enjoy the smooth, bold flavor. Like he starts talking like a commercial for cigarettes.
Right, yeah.
And what he ends up doing is... he's like, well, don't you remember how nice it was to smoke? And he sets up this montage of memories of how great life was when they smoked. So anyway, the idea of him, like, is he high? I mean, he's just, when he smokes cigarettes, he just gets light and it kind of has a breezy attitude.
Takes him back.
Yeah.
Hey, doesn't the smell take you back?
He blows in her face and that triggers like these memories.
Yeah.
Hey, wait a minute.
Oh, Hank. That's right. Oh, that feels like, 100 years ago?
It doesn't have to.
So that clip, obviously you can't like tell what's going on. I wanted to have it for a couple of things. One, pop song, like an actual pop song, it's not
Needle
score.
drop. Yeah.
That doesn't happen all that often.
Right. That's I'll Never Fall in Love Again by Dionne Warwick.
So it's kind of just fun when they do something like that. It's unusual. And then you can hear Hank's practically giddy, giggling, these memories of whatever they're doing way back when they smoked. He is just this lighter, happier guy.
I know, yeah. But I mean, at the same time, maybe it's in part because he was just younger and also smoking. It's not necessarily, but it's like this is unlocking all those memories and everything, and it makes him feel more warm and fuzzy towards the cigarette.
Yeah, last time we kind of got at the idea of like, well, if you have a thought based on stuff in the episode, maybe that stuff was in the episode so that you would think in that way. There's another case like that where there's a few references to like before Bobby. So here they're remembering life is nice, and of course they're younger and they're not parents. They don't have, that comes with a lot of responsibility and everything.
Right. They're just like in high school.
But that's not really what they're focusing on, and it's not like some exploration of the parents mourning the loss of their youth at the birth of their child or anything. But there is that, some of that's going on here.
I mean, I want to point out, first of all, we see these characters looking like way different than they do now.
Yeah.
Hank's wearing a Letterman jacket, so I assume they're in high school. So if anything, it's not yet like, you're right, because I don't think it is like pre-Bobby. It's also like they're not working jobs. Like they're just in school, they're in high school, and they're just hanging out all the time, smoking cigarettes, having fun, and it's bringing them back to that, if anything.
So Peggy's on board now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
She likes it.
And the clip ends with Hank basically drawing Peggy into the dark side. She's like, oh yeah, it feels like so long ago. It doesn't have to, like basically like, let's do this together. And sure enough, we find them on the high school football field on a blanket, smoking, just enjoying their time together.
They go back to recreate the memory. And
it worked. I mean, they seem happy.
Yeah, they're having a good time.
All is well. The sprinklers come on and they're still happy. And they dance in the sprinklers.
Thanks to their cigarettes.
Then they get a little annoying to Bobby. Because we're back at the house. And they're doing this goofy ass thing where they got a cigarette in the bathroom. And then like one of them will go take a puff and then return to the kitchen table.
Yeah.
And be like, and they're talking in code as if it's tile in the bathroom.
They're trying to get a piece of tile clean.
I forgot all about the grout cleaning, so I guess it could be related to some kind of ongoing effort to clean up or, even do some work in the bathroom. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so they're talking about tile when they're really talking about this cigarette that they're sharing for some reason.
Yeah.
And Bobby gets frustrated.
I think I will save the rest of my tile for after breakfast.
Stop talking about your stupid tile. If it's so dirty, go clean it. And if it's clean, you can shut up.
And then Bobby, he's holding a sausage and he puts it out like a cigarette on the table. So Bobby going through withdrawal here while Hank and Peggy are on the opposite end. They're just starting their new romance with smoking. And I think a part of this is like this little game that they're doing is, I think for them, it's a part of it is like fun to, again, they're kind of reliving those feelings, those memories of being younger again. But I think they're probably getting off a little bit on being bad and like, ooh, we shouldn't be doing this, but we're doing it anyways. And they have like a little secret between them because they don't want Bobby to know about it.
Yeah, but I love Bobby holding that sausage between his fingers. It's like a big old stogie.
Yeah.
And he stubs it out on the plate like an ashtray.
Yeah.
And that's another one, right? That's just visual. They don't like insist that you notice that. Obviously you probably would. If you're looking at the TV, you'll notice that it's happening. But I like those little details like that.
I'll say I just kind of picked up on, I know you have it in the notes, I didn't see that part. I just picked up on it watching it here. So maybe I did notice it before, but like it wasn't in my memory of this scene. Because maybe because I was so wrapped up in Bobby just screaming at his parents and leaving.
Well, and I guess that's what I'm, we talk about like, well, why are we so like, why does this show do so much for us? Why do we respond to it so favorably? Mm-hmm. And part of it is the decision, like, okay, he's going to yell, we're advancing the story, the characters are in the places where they are and have the motivations they have, the conflicts are arising, etc. Story, right? It's like, yeah, okay, cool. What can we do also in the animation to have a little extra joke there as well?
Right. Yes. Yeah.
They show Bobby at a bus stop. So he doesn't apparently have access to a cigarette at the moment, and he is in this withdrawal, and that's why he's so irritable. Mm-hmm. And we even see him at a bus stop, and a guy lights up and is smoking, and Bobby's like wafting the smoke into his own face. But I swear later he's going to have a cigarette again. I would have loved, and maybe because my friend Paul helped me steal cigarettes from his mom.
Yeah.
I would have liked keep Joseph in the episode because he's long gone now.
Yeah,
He's reading big tobacco propaganda in the basement next to jars of ants or whatever. But I would have liked to have a scene where Joseph is like pilfering cigarettes from Dale's stash to pass along to Bobby so Bobby can at least sometimes get his fix. Because he is in this episode sometimes getting his fix.
You're right, because like the next time we see Bobby, after he's like hiding behind a guy at the bus stop trying to inhale his fumes, he's lighting up in his bedroom. So those have to be coming from the Gribbles, right? Now I don't know, maybe if they wanted to explore that, but there just wasn't enough time, or maybe they didn't like the idea. Like Bobby and Joseph finding a cigarette and lighting it up together is innocent, but like when Joseph starts giving it to Bobby, or Bobby starts stealing them from the Gribbles, it's less innocent and more like, Jesus Christ. So maybe they just didn't want to go there.
I'm trying to take these sweetheart, dummy, idiot kids and really put them on the wrong path to delinquency and amorality. We don't need that.
All right, so Rob and I just went and watched some deleted scenes, and we saw a scene where after the bus stop scene, Bobby goes to buy some cigarettes from a cigarette machine, I guess. Is that even a thing? Like, because they couldn't ID you.
Yeah, he just bumps into one. But yeah, back in the day, there were cigarette machines, and it never occurred to me that there would be an ID issue. I don't know when the laws went into effect that you had to be 18.
Right.
And maybe it was just a dumb thing where it's like, if anybody sees you buying cigarettes from this machine and you're under 18, then you're going to get busted. You're in trouble.
I mean, look, it was the 90s, okay? Underage people were smoking. I feel like that was a fact of life.
I'm guessing that by 97, maybe there weren't a whole bunch of cigarette machines around. I don't remember them being on the sidewalk like the one that Bobby bumps into. But there were cigarette machines around.
Yeah, it'd make more sense like in a bar.
Sure. Yeah, at a bar. Get your condom, get your cigarette.
There you go, one-stop shop.
Accidentally get them confused, causing problems for yourself in life.
So Bobby tries to buy from the machine. These protesters come up, basically, or these activists, the Nicoteens.
The Nicoteens.
They cut the power so he can't get it, but they're like, oh, we're going to go to a store to stop them.
No!
Good work, Nicoteens! Woo! Now there's only one more store in Arlen that still sells cigarettes to little kids.
Where?
That's the spirit. Come with us.
And they think that he wants to join them in shutting it down. But of course, he's all excited that he might be able to cop some smokes.
Okay, team, let's close them down. I need a volunteer to go undercover and buy a pack of stinkerettes.
Oh, me.
They give him money, they say, to go buy undercover. He gets cigarettes, pretends like he didn't get any, but they see he did. They chase him down.
Get him!
He lights up while he's running from
Yeah.
it. It's so funny.
He's so desperate to finally smoke again.
Like, obviously, when you're making the show and you've got the runtime, the constraints of network television and everything, you end up, maybe, in some cases, you end up with more material than you can use, and, you know.
Exactly.
It's like us being like, well, we can't clip every funny line.
Right.
To talk about it for 5 hours. You got to make some choices. And here, they obviously they have to make choices about what they're going to keep and not. That feels like a loss, because I really liked that stuff. Not just because it solves the problem as why does Bobby have a cigarette next time we see him? And now we know, but it's also just funny for Bobby to be running from these kids who are chasing him and pull a cigarette out and light it while he's on the run. Yeah. I loved it. I wish there could have been some way to fit that in.
Yeah, that's the constraint, right, of 22 minutes versus now with digital, they can include more. I'll include this. Check the description of this podcast episode. Anybody who wants to check this out. These deleted scenes they're worth watching. I mean, maybe we should try and do something with them on Yep, if maybe for our supporters, or I don't know what. I
need to get in the habit of. I just forget. I forget that there's stuff like that out there. I got the DVDs sitting on a shelf right now. I should bust them out.
Yeah. So I guess that maybe explains in the original script why Bobby had cigarettes again, that he was finding ways. So maybe it wasn't as dark as him stealing them from the Gribbles as I was hypothesizing.
I mean, dark, I don't know. He lies to some activist kids and gets
steals
somebody
their money
to sell him, a 12-year-old, a pack of cigarettes.
Yeah,
and then he's fiending so bad he can't even flee without lighting them up. It's pretty dark.
Dark in its own way. Yeah, for sure.
Don't know how he had the one at night, though. That's still a mystery.
So we're in the alley now. Hank's with the guys.
Oh, my goodness.
And he lights up in front of them.
Yep.
Hank's lighting up.
Hey, man, y'all don't put that dang old thing out, man. Y'all gonna lighten up like that, man. You're gonna do just like a dang old junkie, man. Gonna go messing up my head with that dang old secondary nicotine like that, man.
Oh, Hank, I thought you gave that up.
Welcome back, friend. I knew this day would come.
Dale, get off of me.
You do have the recurring yep, mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Usually, I'm not wrong that it's Boomhauer saying right? We don't often get a yep.
I don't know.
Boomhauer,
I haven't tracked that.
But playing with that recurring thing that happens on the show that actually starts the whole series, as we noted.
Yes, yeah.
Way back when. Playing with that and finding a way to repurpose and
the most satisfied we've ever heard.
What a fun moment.
I know. And I want to say, when Hank lights up, the guys are stun locked. They're all just looking at him like mouths agape, like, oh my, what the fuck is happening here? And Boomhauer, as we point out a lot, he's against it. He's like very like, what are you doing here, Hank? Like, he is not for it as a voice of reason, even though he unfortunately can't communicate to most people.
He's also got he's not secondhand nicotine. That's not what you're worried about or what's happening.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it is funny, these early episodes especially. I don't know that it ever stops being the case that Boomhauer is the voice of reason. Mm-hmm. He's often on the right side of situations. I love that they are stunned. Boomhauer scolds him and Dale is just into it.
Yeah, he is
so happy.
He goes to hug Hank and Hank's like pushing him off. He's like, finally, someone else to smoke with. Well, you mentioned secondhand smoke. I guess I'll briefly talk about my history with cigarettes.
Yeah, what is your history?
I grew up around the motherfucking things. I know my mom, I know, quit when she was like pregnant when we were real little. I know for a period she didn't smoke, but eventually, because she lived with my dad who never gave it up, she kind of took it back up again. And I've heard the same thing from my sister. Like, I don't know my sister's real history with smoking, but I know she wasn't smoking at a time, moved in with her boyfriend who his whole family smoked. So she took it up again just to like not have to be disgusted by the secondhand smoke. Because it's, you know, when you smoke too, it's easier to deal with that, right?
That's a funny way to think of it.
Yeah,
I guess,
you're like
right?
kind of forced into it. It's like, well, these other people are smoking. I guess I have to too. So I'm not just smelling disgusting secondhand smoke all day.
Like if you can't beat them, join them.
yeah, in a very fucked up kind of way. Yeah, but so I grew up around it. No, you're talking about earlier. You'd be in the car and the window down and the air would be taking the smoke away. Well, for me, I'd be in the back seat with my window down too, and my mom would flick her cigarette and the fucking ashes would go fly on me in the back seat. So it sucked, man. I'm sure as a kid I probably reeked of cigarette smoke and everything because of just being in this small house where my parents are probably just chain smoking all day. So I was never interested in it. I did take a puff of a cigarette a couple years ago. I was at a wedding. I was drinking. I was taking, a hit of a vape that had more than just a flavoring to it. So I was in maybe a different kind of headspace. And buddy I knew, I kind of knew, lights up a cigarette. I'm like, let me try that. I never tried one before. So I take one puff. And he was hesitant to give it to me. Maybe he was like, either germs maybe, which would be understandable, but maybe also like, I don't want to get this guy addicted to cigarettes.
Yeah, it's like Tim Meadows and Walk Hard. You don't want none of this evil Dewey Cox.
Oh, I fucking love that movie, yes.
It's so funny.
You don't want any of this shit.
That movie's funny. I love Tim Meadows,
yeah,
too.
he's amazing.
I love
he's
that
amazing.
movie.
He was a little hesitant to give it to me, but he did. But I was like, no, I just yeah, I get why people do this. And I gave it back to him. And then I'm never, Hannah would not let me. She would divorce me if I took up smoking.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I guess the thing I want to share is like, when my mom passed away, which honestly I think was probably related to smoking. I think she died of heart failure.
Right?
Yeah. I say I think because I don't know that we have a definitive reason, but it seemed to me like heart failure was a part of it, which smoking can cause. So we had to go to her house, to her apartment, to clean it out, and my dad was there, and we're inside, and he lights up a cigarette, and that was so foreign to me because I haven't been around smokers in so long. I'm like, oh, I have to smell it again. Hannah she never grew up around smoking, so she had to excuse herself and like leave because she's not used to being around like secondhand smoke like that.
It's pretty fucking gross and overbearing.
Yeah, yeah.
So especially if you're not used to it, I totally understand being like, I gotta.
Yeah, and when I smelled that secondhand smoke, it just brought me back to my childhood. Really, like how much of my childhood was spent in a small house, smelling secondhand smoke and watching King of the Hill.
I'm having a good time with my own little self, pretending that it's all cool and stuff. It's fucking disgusting, pretty obviously. And I don't mean to also, it occurs to me now, one, yeah, if you're growing up with it, it's not good for you. Like, it's a bad deal for everyone, but for a kid with smoking in the home, that ain't great. And then also, my good friend Stuart smoked for years and years and years and tried to quit, couldn't kick it, managed to quit for a second, went back, and I got an aunt like this too, just, tried to quit 30 times.
Yeah.
Stuart finally pulled it off.
Wow.
And he was like a transition to some vaping, and I think he probably like watched himself vape in the mirror and was like, well, this isn't cool. I can't, this isn't with anymore. But like I'm joking about it's cool and everything, right? Like this man was addicted to nicotine.
Yes.
Like it would affect the way he felt and could live, whether he got nicotine or not, So it was an ordeal and an incredible triumph that he was able to get over it. So, like fun aside and everything, smoking's the fucking devil.
Yeah, because it's a corporation pumping these things out, and I want to, go back to what Dale was saying, like, no, just read from the tobacco, whatever he said. For decades, these motherfuckers lied, saying it's not bad for you, and they knew it was bad for you, and they still fucking lied to make more money. So there's so many layers to this. And I do want to say, if anybody listening smokes, I'm not trying to pass judgment on you. And like you said with Stuart, I understand. I saw my mom try and quit. I saw people try and quit and they couldn't. I totally understand that. So I'm not trying to knock anybody who is addicted to this, because I totally understand it's not something you can just stop doing.
Honestly, even if you're just like, I do it, I like it, I'm not going to worry about it. You know what I mean? Like, even if you're not battling it like a personal demon, we all got our shit.
Yeah, absolutely. So I hope we don't come across as like preachy against anybody. That's absolutely not our intention. But it's just something I'm glad I don't have to I don't have to smell anymore.
Yeah, and not even generally, right? Not only are there not the smoking sections, I don't go anywhere you can smoke inside. Is that just like nationwide? You just don't smoke inside anymore unless it's like a smoker's lounge kind of?
I
like
think so, yeah.
You know, like a cigar club kind
Yeah.
of deal? I don't know. I never encounter it anymore. And almost hardly out and about, you don't. Every now and then you'll smell a cigarette somewhere. You know, you're on the sidewalk in some public place and yeah, someone nearby smoking. That used to be all the time.
Yeah.
When I was in college, 2002-ish, 3, 4, 2005, well, various years, every time you'd walk out of the building, there's a group of smokers stinking up, all the exits.
100%.
You know, regardless of signs posted being like, you got to be this far away, no one cares. Even if there are that far away, it travels. You just always smell.
Well, let me say, I just saw when I was walking into work, I work at Target, there was somebody out front smoking a cigarette, and they were, you're not supposed to be that close to the entrance. He was breaking the rules doing that. And yeah, that struck me as like smelling cigarette smoke walking into a building. I was like, what the fuck? And then it's like you're saying, I remember as a kid, that was common. Well, hey, I guess we'll be talking more about that as we go to Smokey's restaurant. So things take a turn for Hank and Peggy when they revisit an old smoke-filled jazz club that they liked. But it's not quite as they remember. There's a smokers-only section now. And they talk to the hostess. They say, oh, can we say hi to Smokey? She alludes to he died a very not gruesome, but like a slow, painful death, ostensibly because of smoking. They get bussed away into this, they open a door. It's like a whole other part of the building that she pushes, Peggy and Hank into. And everyone's smoking and coughing and basically dying.
I think you can hear some Adlon probably.
Yeah,
doing some of that,
that's what
right?
I thought when I first heard it. I was like, there's Pam coughing away. And I want to point out before I forget, when I was talking about like weirder animation elements to this episode, when we first get to Smokey's, the background characters are not of the quality of a normal King of the Hill character. They look like they're ripped from like a old Hanna-Barbera or something like that. Like the mouths are weird looking. It's a little strange scene, and I understand there's a lot of stuff going on in this episode. They didn't quite have the money to make everything look up to standard.
Yeah, it does seem like it's a turn into the third act of the episode. Hank and Peggy have been having a good old time. It's all shits and giggles and reminiscing and reliving your glory days of your youth and all that. I mean, Bobby's having a tougher go of it because he keeps not being able to get a cigarette and going through withdrawal and stuff.
Yeah,
but Hank and Peggy, it's all fine until here's like a confrontation with the reality of it. This dude died. It was not pleasant.
Yes.
His death was welcome given the quality of life he had as a lifelong smoker.
Yeah. It was a release.
Yeah.
The death that he finally got, yeah.
Of course, all these people that we just heard coughing are miserable. And then what happens is Bobby lights his goddamn blanket on fire. Back at the house, he's on his bed under a blanket like you would if you were a nerd trying to sneak in some last-second nighttime reading with a flashlight. But instead, he's sparking up. But he catches the blanket on fire, which sets off the alarm. And in burst Hank and Peggy.
What's going on in here?
Bobby, what are you doing with the cigarette? You are going to burn this house down.
Hey, all right. You guys smoke too?
What we do is none of your business. I told you not to smoke. Do I have to take you out back with another carton of cigarettes?
I think you do.
So yeah, Peggy and Hank are still, Smokey's aside. That horror show, they're still smoking when they come in response to the fire
they're smoking
alarm.
in the house.
They're smoking in the house.
Yeah.
So, by the way, everybody would know, right? There's no way to hide it.
And to back up to when Hank's smoking with Enrique and gets in the car, like, she would smell that on him.
You're right.
Like, 100%. Obviously, they don't address that in the episode.
He could probably be like, well, Enrique was smoking while I talked to him or something like that.
That's a good point.
Maybe.
That's a good point, yeah.
But you gotta love the incongruity between where Hank is at and where Bobby is at so often in so many scenes. Here, Hank's coming in hot, upset. What are you doing? And Bobby's response is, hey, cool. You guys smoke too?
He has like the Dale response, basically.
Yeah,
He's
right. That's right. And then, of course, the threat of making him smoke some more. And Bobby's like, yeah, let's do it. Let's go.
I love the delivery, too. Like, you just might, or whatever.
And then Luanne's there, too. And she's going to have her own new role. Earlier, she was disciplining Lady Bird. She used a noisemaker to discourage Lady Bird from fucking with her makeup. where we started back in the bathroom.
Worth mentioning, we skipped over some times where we did pull away and see that in the episode,
yeah.
but we haven't talked about it in the podcast.
Now she's going to use that same kind of thing going forward, and we will note it as we go. Here is when that kind of gets put into motion. Her response to finding out that everyone in the house is smoking.
Uh-huh.
And I just think, if I'm giving out awards, best delivery of the episode, I like a lot of what Judge is doing. Adlon, always, everybody's so good, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
But Brittany Murphy here is fucking bananas good.
Don't you know that more people die of smoking than die of war in Vietnam every day? I'm begging you, put out your cigarettes and keep them out.
Ow.
Give it out.
It's just such a... Luanne, I don't know how much we've talked about it on the show. Luanne talks so weird.
Yeah.
Like, it's so distinctive in that Mike Judge way, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, Bobby's a fun voice, but I wouldn't call it like a weird voice.
Yeah.
Dale's a fun voice, but I wouldn't necessarily call it weird, and just kind of nasally, and
Yeah.
Hank is a little bit of kind of he says things in weird ways. Luanne's got the most like unique way of talking.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I think probably there have been times in my life where I was like, I don't like the way Luanne talks. That's weird. Maybe. But now, revisiting the series, diving deep, I appreciate it more than I ever did. Brittany Murphy, amazing. And that, I think that delivery there, some stuff she says later, it's like, man, no one else does this, right? No one else makes Luanne like this.
Yeah. I want to add on to that because I'm realizing something. When I first showed Hannah the show, she would mimic Luanne.
Oh, man, that seems hard to do.
Right, but Hannah can do it, and she loved the way Luanne would talk, and she would copy it. And the reason I bring that up is because Hannah I don't remember her doing that to any other character ever. Yeah, now that I think about like Luanne is the one character that I remember her ever copying like that, like and mimicking after watching the show, and saying things like Luanne. And I want to be clear, saying quotes that Luanne said like Luanne, not like just talking like her normally. So yeah, there's something to that, right? Where my wife, who has been my best friend, I've talked to every single day for over 12 years. That's the one character that I could think of that she does that to.
Well, good choice. We are watching this Beavis and Butthead. I'm trying to do Beavis, and it's hard. But golly, like there's an example of the Mike Judge thing I'm talking about. Like the way that Beavis talks, is so bonkers. Like it's just so particular and fun. And I feel like Luanne kind of has a similar quality in that way.
Yeah, you're right.
Because it's things like the pacing. So the line's written for her, and it's funny that she goes to Vietnam War. Like that's such a funny.
Yeah, the war that has been ended for decades.
And I'm just assuming she didn't improvise that. But the pause as Luanne reaches for like what more people, she's presenting it like a fact, but she doesn't have the fact on hand. She's fucking making something up. In her own simple-minded way.
Like she's heard before that, yes, smoking kills more than like X, Y, and Z combined or whatever. But so she knew, like she had heard that fact before and she knew the structure of it, but she didn't remember the details of it. So she had to fill in the blanks with whatever she felt.
And Murphy gets that into the delivery with that little pause, the reach for the factoid to finish the structure of it. She finds it and then ending on, keep them out. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. It's so good. Yeah.
So the three smokers, the three smoking hills, hit up the Hotel Arlen. Hotel or Motel Arlen? That's my quiz bowl question for you because I'm forgetting which one it is. It's not the Hotel Arlen.
The Motel Arlen.
Yeah, the Motel Arlen. We've seen the Hotel Arlen. That's when
you're right.
Lady lawyers.
Yeah.
Yeah, damn, I tried to do a cot and I ended up getting closer to Dale. The cigarenders.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, it says welcome cigarenders on there. I know this because that was a quiz bowl question of mine for you. It's on the sign.
Mm-hmm.
They don't say it in the episode, right? I believe it's just on the sign. Cigarenders.
Yeah, a group meeting to,
a support group.
Yeah, like a support group. Being led by a dude, they're all trying to quit smoking, being led by a guy, and Hank does not immediately like this guy.
Mm.
Future non-smokers, take a look to your left. Now take a look to your right. Who do you see? Don't be shy. There are no wrong answers here.
I see a caring human being.
No. You see
David
your
Herman.
buddies for a better life.
I've got the strangest feeling someone's gonna kick his ass.
You're saying the leader is David Herman?
No. I think there was the guy who
the
was
guy
like,
who.
and they're very like he came in like that.
But so Hank seems resistant to what's going on here. And Peggy's like, give it a chance. And then I'll tell you who's there at the meeting, also ready to encourage Hank to get on board with this cigarinders.
Who is it?
There's Bill for some reason.
He's just there.
Yes, buddy. Give it a chance.
Bill, what are you doing here?
Well, I know you think of me as a pretty together guy, but
Sure they do,
sometimes
Bill.
I need a little help. Just 6 nights a week for 20 years.
So we continue to pick up new information about Bill.
Yeah.
He's apparently going to, which is obviously an absurd joke. It can't possibly be true.
Uh-huh.
But 6 nights a week for 20 years, he's going to this meeting, or at least some meetings.
I'm looking into it here. According to the internet, and this can't be right because I'm looking at the credits. He's not credited on the episode. The cigarinders leader is Billy West.
Oh.
Who is like this major voice actor.
Yeah, he's Fry on Futurama.
Bill is going here. Kind of reminds me a little bit of, for very different reasons, reminds me a little bit of Fight Club, how the narrator, the main character, like goes to these support groups that he's not actually, because I don't get the impression that Bill smokes, right? So Bill's just going to a support group for his own personal reasons, even though he doesn't have anything to do with the reason for the group being there. It's so fucking interesting and dark.
Is this the saddest detail we've learned about Bill? Well, keeping his wife's socks. There's a lot of sad shit. Never mind.
But this to me, like, okay, keeping a pair of socks is like a low effort thing to do. You know?
Right.
You
That's
just,
true.
It's actually easier than like throwing them away or whatever. I guess I don't know how he got them. But this is an active thing that he has to keep doing for 20 years. He's been going through with this. So I don't know. To me, this is pretty fucked up. Yeah, and like up until this point, though, is like really seeing this darker side of Bill that we having seen every episode know is coming.
Mm-hmm.
But for people watching in real time, they know. I guess that you kind of get the gist of this character, but
Like,
this
he's
is a
sad
shocker
sack,
almost.
You know,
Yeah.
guy whose wife left him and everything, but finding out the particulars of how he spends his time, grimly funny. Their interaction, Hank and Bill, leads to the leader coming over and prompting Hank to share his story, and Hank's like, I'd rather not. And the guy's like, oh, I understand. It's hard to admit that you're weak.
It's not easy to admit we're weak.
You're calling me weak? Look at your little birdie arms. They're no thicker than a cigarette. I could smoke them little arms.
You know, Hank's always threatening to kick people's ass and stuff.
Yeah.
Here, that tendency he has to make a threat of violence becomes smoking the guy's arms. So funny.
Because inherently, Hank is going into this angry at whoever it's going to be, unless it was like Willie Nelson or somebody leading this group, right? He's already not going to like this person because they are against the thing that he ultimately wants to do. Coupled with the fact that this leader is a little bit more, feelings-based and a softer kind of guy than Hank normally would respect and see as an authority figure. Then you get this situation.
Yeah. And maybe, I don't know that Hank's responding to this, but that bullshit about there's no wrong answers, and then somebody throws out an answer and he says no. Like, this guy's a jerk, too.
If you think that that's going to be the big bombshell, that's the appetizer, the main course that we're about to get. Remember back when Hank thought he was doing some good parenting with Bobby and that carton of cigarettes? Well, that comes up at the meeting.
I'm a smoker too.
Oh, no. How long have you been addicted to cigarettes?
Since my dad let me smoke a whole carton.
Wait a minute. I didn't let him. I made him. It was a punishment.
Can I get a new buddy?
What's wrong with him?
You are sick, sir. You shouldn't be allowed to have children.
Now, hold on a minute here. I didn't bring my family here to be yelled at. I don't think I like this club. You all whine too much and the coffee's bad. I tell you what you need to do. You need to take a 13th step. Down off your high horse.
Yeah!
Bill. First he's like, come on, Hank, give it a try. He calls him buddy. He's using the language of the stupid meeting.
Yeah.
Come on, buddy, give it a try. And then when Hank reveals that he made Bobby smoke, Bill's like, can I get a new buddy?
Can I get a new buddy?
Now he's against Hank. And then Hank is like, y'all get off your high horse. And then Bill starts clapping. Bill's all over the place.
He's conflicted.
That dude's a mess, man.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of like when we're talking about before, we talked about in Shins of the Father, when you're merging two friend groups and how do you fit in that new dynamic. That's what Bill is going through here,
right.
Where he's like trying to appeal to the group, but also to his lifelong friend Hank, where he's like on both sides in a way that doesn't make any sense and it has no consistency.
Also, you hear Peggy say, when Hank says, it was a punishment to make him smoke. And then Peggy says, what is wrong with him? Which I thought was kind of, I don't know, I know she never liked that when she found out. She wasn't into that punishment. But man, she just abandons him here.
I mean, I don't blame her because she was against that, and that is a fucked up thing to do. So I don't blame her for not wanting people to think that she was a part of that. You know what I mean?
And really at this point, that bond we've been talking about, that they're teammates and everything, that's pretty much falling apart now that their struggle with smoking is becoming central more so than their relationships with each other.
Yes.
Because that's where we're headed. Back at home, everybody's being shitty to Luanne.
Mm-hmm.
She takes on this role of trying to help them quit by doing the kinds of things she was doing with Lady Bird, this operant conditioning kind of behaviorist psychology stuff. Like she uses the same noisemaker to discourage Hank from trying to smoke.
Oh my God!
Drop it. Drop it.
And then later, he's like going for a cigarette or something, and she catches him, and he's like, I wasn't going to smoke it.
Mm-hmm.
And so she rewards him.
I wasn't going to smoke it, I swear.
I know. You did it. Good boy. Here's your treat.
So she's treating them like dogs. Bobby acts like a dog when they're messing with some nicotine patches.
Oh, God, yeah.
He's got the nicotine patch in his mouth.
Bobby! Bobby!
Bobby, spit it out! Spit it out!
Hank, you hold him. I'll go get a stick.
So there is this sequence where they're kind of acting like Bobby's certainly acting like dogs. Luanne treating them like dogs.
But I want to say to Luanne, because she's been dealing with Lady Bird throughout this episode at first, you're right, and then she pivots to dealing with the Hills in this way. And that is that King of the Hill thing where characters trying to do good just using what they know.
Yeah.
And so she's taking it to an extreme to where she's literally, doing all the same stuff she did for Lady Bird. But that's what she was doing. Like, she learned that stuff, I guess. Maybe she did some research to figure out how to deal with Lady Bird.
Yeah, how did she even think of that?
Because Hannah and her family, they bred dogs for a period. They had Alaskan Malamutes. So, like, a lot of the stuff Luanne is doing is stuff that they did. Like, they had the can with the stuff, like the loud noise in it.
Oh, really? Like, literally the noisemaker can?
Yes, yep, literally the noisemaker can, yes. So, I'm imagining that Luanne looked into this somehow at some point to deal with Lady Bird, and she's just applying that in a very literal way to the situation. But given that they are, at least Bobby is acting like a dog and they're acting kind of like animals here, she's not really wrong for doing that. Like, they are warranting this kind of treatment here.
I like thinking about how anything they could be as people is all broken down into just, they are just this addiction to smoking. Like, smoking is, so they're so simplified, flattened out. Like a lot of their humanity and personality is just, it has shed away so that they can be manipulated or conditioned, trained, as if they were nothing against dogs, but they're not as smart as people, I don't figure.
Right.
So it's like Hank, it seems to maybe work on Hank, and it's because he's not his full intelligent human self. He's just the addiction. They end up with one cigarette left. Peggy disappears, and the cigarette disappears. Like, where'd she go?
Yeah.
And then Luanne finds her in the closet.
I found her.
Close the damn door. Can't you see that I am knitting?
Hand over the cigarette.
No.
Mom, this is not your son. This is your buddy.
No.
Hand it over. Who's your buddy? Who's your buddy?
Some more dog talk, like, who's your buddy?
Yeah.
Love Adlon's delivery there. Love the line, can't you see I'm knitting?
Can't you see I'm knitting? She's crouched in the closet with a cigarette in her hand, screaming. Yeah, like, you're right. Like, they are reduced to just their addiction to smoking, and they are acting completely out of character, which is an important note for this episode, because they're not glorifying smoking. Like, they start off glorifying it in a very misguided way with the Hills, because it's like all nostalgia based, but then we see how quickly that goes badly, so it's not actually encouraging the viewer to smoke in any sort of way, because we're seeing like this horrible thing play out.
I mean, of course, I would watch it and be like, well, I just won't do the horrible thing. I think I'm special enough where the horrible thing wouldn't happen to me. I'll just enjoy the good part. Most of that doesn't happen in life. It's not the way things go. Starting to think I'm not so special.
That's exactly what the Hills thought too. Surely they didn't anticipate any of this happening.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, we'll be fine. Yeah, we'll start. We know it's bad, because they were scolding Bobby for it, how bad it was at the beginning. Not just because he's underage, but like how bad it is for you. They know this.
Mm-hmm.
And they're thinking, nah, I'll figure it out. I'll be okay with it. And then as we can see here, it's never really the case.
The final kind of dog thing is Luanne entices them into a room with the cigarette that she's gotten a hold of. And they're just like animals now, just dumb animals who want the thing that they want. And so she gets them to go into the room, and then she locks them in there. She like shoves coins into the crack.
I was always fascinated by that as a kid. I was like, does that work?
I would think not.
I'm cranking y'all in like an unruly dog. I'm sick of dysfunctional families. I came from one, and I'm not going to let it happen to you. Function! Function, damn you!
I love function. Function, damn you.
Yeah.
So funny. She comes from a dysfunctional family. What's the opposite of that she would prefer? Function.
Yes. Yeah. No, I mean, like, I never really thought about it too much from Luanne's perspective. Like, obviously, I get what's going on here, but you're right. Like, this is, like, scary to her, because you have to realize this poor girl is traumatized. Like, we don't know a whole lot about what's happened to her yet in the show, but you learn, like, her parents, like, we know that they got in the fight, but then, like, there is the episode in season 2 where we go to the trailer and she kind of relives some of that and, like, all this horrible violence and stuff that she went through. So for me, I didn't realize, like, really how serious this was for Luanne, and you understand why, what she's going through here. She's like, I'm not going to watch another fucking family fall apart like mine did. A very layered episode in ways that I didn't appreciate until now.
Yeah, that's a really good point. This is pretty serious business. Like, she's got a rough background, and this would seem to be a moment when her new, much better life could slip into that bleakness. So yeah, Luanne's perspective is really something to consider.
I did look it up here. I guess penny locking is like a prank that people will do. I guess it kind of does work. Yeah, they said the idea is that you slip one or more coins, traditionally pennies, into the gap between a door and its frame right by the latch. As you stack coins tightly into the gap, they push against the door and frame, compressing the latch bolt. With enough pressure, the latch can't retract, which means the door is effectively locked. It won't open even if someone turns the handle. From the outside, it looks like the door is just shut normally, but really the coins are wedging it stuck. It's easy to undo if the trapped person pushes hard, shakes the door.
That's what I would assume.
Maybe they just give up right away and don't actually try to get out. I don't know. Hey, it's a cartoon.
Well, one reason why they might is because they got a cigarette in there.
That's true. They're more focused on that.
Because what happens is they immediately, Peggy has this. By the way, they're all disheveled. They all look like shit.
That's right. Yeah. So visually, the characters are crazy looking now. They're all. It's a complete transformation.
But Peggy has a cigarette, and she's like, "Okay, women and children first. So I'll smoke first, and then Bobby can smoke. And if there's any left, Hank, then you can have some."
Yeah.
He rejects that proposal, and he makes his own. And I like it's every man for himself here. Peggy has a cigarette, so they have to appeal to her. No one is friends anymore. They can pretend it if it might help them get a puff of a cigarette. They'll pretend that they're united, but they are not. So everyone takes their turns, just not being concerned about the other people in the room. It's all about the cigarette.
Let's you and me split it, Peg. It'll be romantic. Like the old days, before he came along.
Mama, it's your son. 9 months inside, remember? Those were good times, too.
I don't know. I don't, this is happening too fast. I just don't know.
Well, I do. Come on, Bobby. You and me can take her. You go high, I'll go low.
I just love all like the different examples of how this could play out that they're giving us here.
What happens at the end there is Peggy threatens to flick the cigarette outside. She does. She just lets it go outside to put an end to all that.
I want to say, as soon as the cigarette flies out the window, it starts raining at that exact moment. You know, it's very dramatic. And again, to the amazing visuals of this episode.
Yeah, you're right. I don't know how many sequences we've gotten like this with following the cigarette. And then it ends up going through the bars of the window at a jail.
Yeah.
And landing on the concrete floor in there. And then all the inmates jump from their bunk beds into a dog pile to get the cigarette.
Yeah. You know what? To me, it's almost like a fucking Twilight Zone episode where it's like this cursed thing that is like haunting anybody who comes across it is almost like what's happening here.
But back in the room, Peggy's the one, now that she's the one who got rid of the cigarette and now gives them kind of a pep talk. You know, they obviously all need to quit. And, you know, we talk as it unfolds across these episodes, like who is Peggy so far, and we talked last time about the different roles that she's played on her way toward becoming a Boggle champion of Texas. Here, she is the one who's able to get her senses back, like get her wits about her, and unite the family the way that she sometimes does in these early episodes.
This family has survived fires and twisters and every strain of flu the Orient could throw at us. Well, we are not going to be done in by a lousy tobacco leaf. We're going to make it. Together. Now, who's with me? Hands in the center. Come on.
And they do put their hands in the middle like a team will do. Go team. And everybody's hands are shaking.
Yeah. and again, while they all look like shit, like they are so disheveled looking throughout all of this.
We get another little time-lapse sequence where they just kind of grit it out through the night as the storm rages. And then they wake up to a new day and they're all feeling better. The storm caused some damage. Mm-hmm. They wake up, they're feeling better, they're looking better. They're talking about what a beautiful day as they walk out into the backyard or the side yard or whatever. And they're seeing, you know, obviously like tree branches. There's a mess out there because of the storm. But they don't care. They all feel better now that they're off of the tobacco.
Oh, Hank.
I know. Isn't it the most beautiful day you've ever seen?
What a day to be alive. Hey, Dad, over here.
Go deep, Bobby.
Here, Bobby, Bobby, over here.
All right. Over here, Peggy. Okay.
They're playing football with a flat football.
Yeah, you know what this makes me think of?
Hey, Mike. Hey, Daddy. You guys want to play some football?
They're just like tossing it like right next to each other anyways.
Yeah, they're so close together.
But you know, obviously the football is deflated, it's destroyed, so it's like you can't really throw it anyways.
And that's credits.
Yeah, that's the episode. We get the credits, but then we get one of these great scenes that takes place underneath the credits, and it's one of these PSAs. Like we got it in Hank's Unmentionable Problem when Hank is apologizing for the nudity in the episode. Well, this time it's our man Boomhauer. Like we said, a logical man, reasonable man. He was against Hank's smoking, and he's going to drive that point home at the end.
He shows us a couple of air filters, like from your car. One very filthy and one clean.
Y'all listen up, man. This Boomhauer. This your lungs on air. This your lungs on smoke. See the difference, man? It's gonna stunt your growth all over. You end up winding that dang old hospital bed like Morton Downey Jr. Robert Downey Jr. Even worse, man. Yo, think talk about oral gratification, all that dang. It's gonna give you low sperm count, man. You give ear hair. Yo, it just ain't no good.
And then a woman walks up next to Boomhauer and they walk away, showing you that cool guys, they got high sperm counts because they're not smoking. And the ladies love that, I guess.
That's
you
right.
catch that Robert Downey Jr. reference.
Yeah.
Different time, right? 97. Wasn't he had really bad drug problems, right? Like he was at a real low at a certain point, and it wasn't really until like the Iron Man movies that he, in 2008, I think that came out, that he blew up and is like the Robert Downey Jr. that we know now. So I want to explain that because it was a different Robert Downey Jr. than the one that we are used to now.
Yeah, that's right. There's the Morton Downey Jr. reference. I don't know who gets that, but he was a talk show host who would smoke on air and just yell at people and argue with people. I don't know what kinds of topics he would have, but he's got his guests on and he would just yell at them.
Oh, okay.
There's a documentary out there about him. I forget what it's called. He just kind of became a celebrity. People were aware of him. It was a little bit of a phenomenon, and I don't even know exactly when, sometime in the 80s, I believe. But very prominently, he would have a cigarette at all times, I think.
I think that documentary was called Smoking and Yelling, right?
Was it?
I don't know.
No, it might have been. Like, that was who he was. He smoked and he yelled on TV. If that was the name of it, it actually wouldn't shock me.
No, it's called Evocateur, the Morton Downey Jr. movie. I would have called it Smoking and Yelling.
Why not?
To the end here, it's always so interesting, right? How these characters break the fourth wall. They have Boomhauer doing a PSA. Such a fun, weird use of the characters, but to me, it oddly feels fitting. It doesn't feel like, what's going on here? It's just like, I don't know. I love these characters, especially Boomhauer, and it's just nice to see them talk to us, the audience, directly like that. All right, well, I've gotten too many quiz bowls wrong, so I'm getting a grace period, so I don't have to answer one.
That's Ronnie trying to cover for me. I fucking forgot to come up with a question for him.
Well, it's okay, because my question for you is really more of a means for me to tell the audience something. There's no way you're going to get this.
All right.
How many packs of cigarettes did Bobby smoke for his punishment?
19, because he barfed before he finished the last one. That's why Hank had a pack of cigarettes to smoke after that.
You're technically wrong, but your logic is right. It's 9. The carton had 10 packs in it, not 20. It's 20 cigarettes per pack.
20 cigarettes per pack. Right.
So, half a point. Because I was trying to figure out. I was like, I wonder how many packs Bobby smoked. Now, Hank was smoking too, so who knows really how many cigarettes he really smoked. Jumping to final thoughts, I don't really have a whole lot to say here. You noted the discrepancy at the beginning of the episode when Joseph and Bobby go into one bathroom, and then later when Hank opens a different door and they're there. I noticed when we are at the dinner table, everyone's all on edge, because at this point everyone's they're trying to stop smoking, so everyone's on edge. And Bobby's complaining about his potato has skin on it.
Mm-hmm.
And Peggy says, she's mad about this. She's like, people criticizing my work. The potatoes don't just mash themselves. But they're eating full potatoes. They're not mashed potatoes. And on Luanne's plate, it kind of looks like it could be mashed potatoes. Everyone else has a full potato. Then we cut back to Bobby, and his potato is just gone, and it kind of looks like there's mashed potatoes on his plate.
Huh.
It's very weird. I don't know, some sort of discrepancy, but I just kind of noticed that while watching, because the visual discrepancies, okay, they are what they are, but again, to the script, I'm like, Bobby's complaining about a potato having skin on it, and Peggy brings up mashed potatoes. In that scene too, Rob, I played this for you off mic of one of my favorite quotes here.
My God, are you still talking?
Which is what I think to myself when I'm editing our podcast and I'm rambling on about something. I'm like, Jesus Christ, dude, what was I doing? But keeping up with our Joneses, like I said, going into it, wasn't sure. I'm like, is this really going to hold up? And it not only did it hold up, it was better than I even thought it would be. A very interesting, very crazy story here. So many layers to it, but just jam-packed with jokes, and that's exactly everything that I want from a King of the Hill episode. Obvious, in-your-face jokes, and then very subtle jokes that I didn't even realize until recording this podcast. So I think I'm going to give this one... I got to give it the full 5 mashed and full-skinned potatoes out of 5.
It is a great episode. I was wondering if part of, why wouldn't I like straight arrow more? It's because I wasn't a Boy Scout and I don't mostly go in the woods,
Yeah.
Here, there's so much about it that's relatable. I do like this episode even more because I smoked. I knew people who smoke. I know people who quit smoking. It does bring in the father-son and parent-child relationship that I always like, and having to deal with that. And what you're talking about with all the jokes and everything. That's some of why I would like this one especially. Mm-hmm. That said, I don't know. I don't even know if I could explain why I wouldn't go a full 5.
Ooh.
I don't know why. I'm going to go 4 packs a day will probably kill you out of 5 stars.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't even know. I don't know how I feel about that. That's what feels right to me right now, and I wonder what I would think later.
One thing I want to point out here, I love seeing Green Bobby. It's just fun, just stuck in my mind watching this so many times growing up. Green Bobby. But hey, thank you for listening to us. Thank you for spending this time with us as we work our way through keeping up with our Joneses. Of course, we want to thank anybody who supports this podcast. If you would like to support this podcast and get our super extra thanks, you can head on over to yeppodcast.com/support. That gets you for $5. You get the full episode. For $10, you get our monthly bonus episode. Like I said, this month is Beavis and Butthead. So excited to get into that. And for $50 a month, you can be like our guy, our propane Hall of Famer, Nick. Nick enjoyed our conversation about our favorite bands. He reached out to me because Nick, we both love heavy, extreme music. He gave me a pretty good recommendation, Rob. And in that conversation, you mentioned to me that, you were a little interested in getting into the heavier side of things. So I thought I'd play you one of Nick's picks here. Okay, this is a potentially an ongoing segment, depending on what Nick sends me going forward. He sent me this band I'd never heard of before. They're called Thou. They're an American sludge metal band from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Now, I know you were living in Arkansas for a period. You're from Texas. Louisiana nestled in between those states. So these guys from your neck of the woods.
Yeah, I've gotten a speeding ticket in Louisiana.
Oh, there you go. Well, maybe the song I'll play for you here in a moment, Rob, maybe that's how you felt when you got your ticket. I'm going to play you a little bit of this song by Thou called Emotional Terrorist, and we'll see if this brings you to the heavier side. We'll see if this converts you. All right, Rob, does that bring you back to getting your speeding ticket in Louisiana?
Yeah, that's how it felt. That sounds like how it felt to get that ticket taken care of. Goddamn backwoods, whatever parish, Louisiana. I'm having to call the courthouse to figure out how to, maybe a little early for everything to be online. Unless you were outside of Louisiana. Outside of Louisiana, everybody had that shit figured out. We're not in there. Yeah, it felt frustrating.
Yeah, they're all emotional terrorists over there trying to fuck up your day.
Boy, I don't know what that song's about. They feel like emotional terrorists because they scared me with that. Those vocals, the guitar, I'm like, oh, that is. I can't even think of a word other than heavy. Like it's got a heavy.
I would describe it like that.
You know, like what we call music aside. Like if I heard that sound, like, oh, what a heavy, like a weighty, substantial kind of guitar sound. You know what I mean? Then there were the vocals. And I was like, I am a little nervous.
Screaming at me like a devil, man.
That's some scary fucking sounds for a voice to make.
Yeah. Well, maybe he got a speeding ticket that day and he was just expressing his frustrations.
I think if I pulled someone over and that's how they made noises at me, and like license and registration, and then that's the sound that came from their face, I'd be like, you can go. I'd get back in my cruiser, man.
That's why he does it, because he's gotten pulled over too, and he's figured out the trick to never get a speeding ticket again, all right? So, Nick, we thank you for this suggestion. I listened to that whole album. I need to listen to more of their stuff. I really enjoyed it, Nick. And now Rob picked up a new little trick here, how to get out of his speeding ticket. So, thank you. That was Nick's picks. We love it. Nick, thank you for your support and your music recommendations. So, if you'd like to reach out to us, everything is over at yeppodcast.com. Leave us a voice message, whatever you want to do, yeppodcast.com. Next time, we are talking about Season 1, Episode 11, King of the Anthill.
I have dedicated my professional career to the study and control of arthropods. I have personally taste tested each and every household insecticide. I have read a book.
He's read a book.
I have read a book.
I'm excited to have an episode with a nice dose of Dale.
Our first full Dale episode, I think.
Seems like it, right?
Yeah, and I want to mention this episode written by Johnny Hardwick, voice of Dale, and Paul Lieberstein. So I'm really stoked on that.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun.
Yeah, it's going to be great. This episode is nutso. It's crazy. There's going to be a lot to talk about. We're excited to do it for you right here next time. We'll see you then.
Yep.
Yep.